Okay, hello. I'm gonna do this video like, oh jeez. Okay, I'm gonna do this video like a week earlier than I guess it should be scheduled. I keep looking over there because that's where the star of the show is. He's backstage right now. He's cleaning up his makeup crew and everything. So he is nearly ready to go. And actually, here he comes right now. Alright. Here he is. Here's the... Look over there. Look over there. Look at your fans. Oh, sorry. Okay. So, I say I'm doing this video like a week too early because I just wanted to make a little, like, a little hand-over-hand video. No, I wanted to make a little... This is how we do hand-over-hand. It's a little weird. I'm going to stand up on my tiptoes and do this so you can kind of see it better. He keeps going underneath and everything. Yeah, so I say I do this a week too early because I wanted to do it for, like, his first birthday, which I think, by my estimate, which is... I wouldn't say I have really anything to base it off of except Facebook posts from where I adopted him. Oh, careful. Okay. Oh. I'm gonna grab your finger. I'm gonna bite it. No, he didn't bite it. Yeah, by my best estimate from Facebook posts on the rescue organization Facebook page, he will be approximately a year old in November. And so I just kind of randomly made an estimate. I'm like, oh, let's just say it's November 15th because it's in the middle of the month, so you kind of compensate for if it actually is in October or if it actually is in December by just putting it in the middle of November. So, I have had this little rascal for... I should probably put it down. Hold on. Oh no, I'm so sorry. He just landed on his knot nibbler, which is very spiky. Oh, here's his back. Ah! He just wants in on the action. Alright, here he is again. So, yeah, I've had him for 4 months now. I adopted him July 1st. So, this summer. We've had a lot of challenges, I guess you could say. But, I mean, I guess you can kind of tell from here that he is mostly tame. I would say he is not quite fully tame. I guess fully tame by other people's standards of, like, you being able to pick them up in any situation and they're totally okay with it. Because I did taming work with him on being able to pick him up. And, I reached the point where it was like, I think he just wants to get down. Hold on. I'm gonna have to keep putting him down periodically, except he just jumps straight back up out of his cage, wanting to go. Okay. Okay, there you go. He's sneezing because my sweater's so thick. My heater just came on. Dang. Luxurious. Okay. But he's like, I love the cool breeze of the fan, because the fan's still on for some reason. Anyway, yeah, so in sort of official taming, which I was doing since basically for like, I don't know, starting like, maybe like somewhere between 4 and 7 days after, look at his cute face. Somewhere between 4 and 7 days after I got him, I started taming, and I was doing that basically every single night. I worked night shifts, so luckily that kind of worked out because, you know, I'd get home at like 11 or 12, and then, you know, he'd be up, ready to go at that time. So yeah, in official taming, I sort of we reached like 50% success rate at being able to pick him up and him not directly, immediately jumping straight out of my hands or making any effort to. And that was like, I would say like before school started. So that was like August, mid-August is when school started. So honestly, he's only had about like a month and a half, or you know, to be generous, to his prickly nails. To be generous, like 2 months of I try to put him down, and he's instantly climbing, like literally I try to set him down, and he just reaches for the top of the bin again. Okay. he's gonna make this difficult. Alright. He's like, no. Okay. So, yeah, we reached a 50% success rate, me being able to scoop pick him up. And I just kind of like decided I don't really care if I can scoop pick him up because I don't want to invade his personal space. I tried to like reach out and pet him when he was just in the cage, and he freaked out, like spun around like he was gonna bite me, just froze in place. And so, I mean, I can just pet him like, if he doesn't jump out of my hands right now, he's not gonna be calm, which is kind of, that's a little inconvenient for this video. Dang. Oh my gosh. Calm down for 5 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna put him back in, and please actually go in here now. At least touch feet on the ground. Oh my gosh. Because I'm too lazy to get out the playpen, this is the equivalent of playpen time right now. So, yeah, I was like, it's not really necessary to me if I'm able to like scoop pick him up out of his cage at any random time, and that seems unfair anyway. It seems like you're not really respecting your hamster, and all these people are saying like, oh my gosh, like my hamster like is an individual, you know, being with his or her own little personality, but then they're like, we're gonna completely disrespect them. I mean, it's not, I don't think it's disrespect necessarily, but like to me it seemed kind of like disrespect to just be like, oh, I'm gonna scoop pick them up out of their cage if they're half asleep and they have to be okay with it. Like, what is this, slavery? I mean, I understand they can be in really bad conditions, and the fact that he lives in this bin cage, even though it's pretty big, it's kind of depressing to me. But he sleeps like 18 hours a day or more, so he basically sleeps like 20 hours a day, so I don't really think it matters to him. He just loves softness. Oh, okay. So yeah, this is what I call the climb up game. And of course I didn't show you the first part, which is when he climbs up the mesh front of his bin cage, and he does that of his own will. He started doing that like mid-July, so it was like, you know, a week or so after having been in the bin cage, after having been living officially in the bin cage. He figured that out, and so this is how he decides, you know, if he wants to come out of his cage for playpen time or ball time, or what I just call the climb up game, where he just climbs out and I can get him into my hands, and we can just be doing this. Sometimes he'll sit in my hand, sometimes he'll go back and forth. He usually just likes to go from one hand to another, partially down my arm, and then he'll duck into the little crook of my elbow where he seems to think there's burrowing space. Hold up. Okay. He's like, okay. Hold on, I'm gonna have to, oh, sorry, little buddy. If that didn't traumatize him, I don't know what would. He looks a little scared right now. Okay. So, I'm gonna turn it to him, but he might try to climb up again. Okay. I'm gonna close this for a moment so he can't climb out. Yeah, so he does that of his own will. He will climb straight up and out if he wants to come out, and he also does this annoying thing where he chews on the mesh, which is extremely annoying, but I think he does that either as a way, like if he's hungry, or if he hasn't had playpen time, or if he just wants to come out. And he does, if I'm standing right in front of his cage and I'm not doing anything, he'll be like putting his paws up on it and sniffing through and partially climbing up and being like, what are you doing? Why aren't you taking me out right now? So I mean, I think we have a pretty good bond for basically only I met him for the first time like May 20th. So by the time of his quote-unquote actual birthday, it will have been 6 months that I've actually known him. But I've only had him in my life as like an actual pet that I take care of for 4 months. But I think we get along relatively well, and we have a pretty decent bond. I think our personalities are sometimes too alike for us to really be able to get along well, because we're both incredibly stubborn about how we want things set up. For instance, in his cage, like I'll be like, I'm gonna set it up in a certain way, and I have to do a new cage setup like today or tomorrow actually, I'll be like, hey, I want it set up this way, but then he's gonna be like, no, I'm gonna burrow under the wheel, I'm gonna burrow behind here, I'm gonna try to burrow underneath this, and he completely has a different view of how he wants it, and then I kind of give in a little bit. I'm like, okay, fine, if you want to burrow behind there, let me just move it out of the way so you're not making it impossible to run on the wheel. But he'll find, usually he finds another way to, I guess, annoy me, or, you know, be like, oh, never mind, that's actually not what I wanted. It's like, I'm trying to give you what you want here, and then you're just completely like, no, I don't want that right now. I'm going to want this other thing that's going to be inconvenient to you. Yeah, he got a little too exploring. If you saw, I had to pick him up like this. They say never to do that, but, actually the first day that I met him, I held him. When I met him, the lady at the rescue was like, you want to hold him? I was like, okay. She like held the ball. He was in his ball, running around with his ball. She just opened the lid, held the ball into my hands, and we did that sort of climb up thing, and he tried climbing up here, and I had to do that a few times, that sort of claw to pick him off. Alright, hold on, I'm going to take him out again. Alright, as long as you don't do that. Or no, don't jump back down in there. What are you doing? Alright, he seems like mushy right now. I don't know, it seems weird. Okay, so. See, I'm able to like pet him. Ah, you can't even see it. Okay. I'm able to like pet him if he's in my hands, and I think it's because he's like, oh, I chose to be in your hands, so you can pet me. Like, I don't know. He's. To sum him up as like not a hamster, he's like a little dog, a little cat, and a fish. Because he's like a little dog because he's crazy. Like, you see him running around everywhere, sniffing everything. You know, marking his territory sometimes. Sometimes refusing to be litter trained. Which, I mean, dogs aren't litter trained. Little cat, in that he has a litter box. And then he looks cleaning himself, spends like forever and ever and ever cleaning himself on like a nightly basis. I'll try to wake him up, take him like 20 minutes to be like showered and ready to go out for playpen time. Which can be a little bit annoying to me because I'm like, I want to get you out in the playpen right now so that you get the maximum playpen time. But, you know, if he wants it that way, that's okay. And he's like a fish sometimes because sometimes, you know, when he's sleeping in the middle of the day, burrowed in his bedding, and I don't see him, it can just be like, ah, ow, oh, oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, little buddy. Oh. He's giving me like he's like heaving a little angry breath at me right now. Okay, it's like, don't go back into my hands if you're gonna be heaving angry breaths at me. Alright, I'm gonna put him back down in here. Oh, nope, he's gonna like race back over like, no, please let me out. See, I don't understand him. Like, he can be super bold. Like, he'll jump from like, you know, a foot off the ground. You know, I made him these little cardboard things to go in his playpen, and he'll just jump from the highest level of it. I'm like, I made a little stairway down. He's like, no, I'm gonna jump off the highest level of it. So he can be like so bold and so like, you know, fearless, but at the same time he can get so scared. Like, here's one tiny little noise, like here's the toilet flushing in the bathroom, which is right next door, and he'll just freak out. He'll just sit there, like staring. He'll be frozen for like, you know, a minute. It's like, what the heck? Is that your little disbelieving face? Oh. Okay. Oh no, I'm sorry. I keep giving you that little indignant face. So yeah. I don't really know what else to say about him. He seems pretty healthy. Ah, hold up. Ah. I've never really had to do that. Now I'm having to do it like a zillion times. Here's some milestone progress. You know, of taming, I guess. Oh, go down. There we go. Unless you want to have to deal with that again. So yeah, there's some milestone progress. I mean, you know, he's a year old. He's still very active, you know. He'll sleep so much of the day, but then at night when he's ready to come out, he's super active. He still finds ways to annoy me, but he's very cute. So I usually forgive him. And yeah, that is Stanley at 1 year old. And I'm gonna try to get him to hold on. I'm gonna put him back in. I'm gonna try to get him to hold still for 1 second. Oh, don't jump on that again. Oh, maybe he won't. It's okay if you don't. No, no. He's like, I'm gonna come out. Okay. Can you hold still for camera? Bye. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, and I will